My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system, which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C, and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state, and it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state. In case you're unsure what you're looking at, this is the fake sun. While I am inside of Tracy Banks' apartment number 51, which is located at 408 West G Street in Ontario, California. This is not at Palmdale, the Holiday Inn, where I remained inside of a hotel room where the sun never ceased to be over that building, over that parking lot, and over me as I remained there. So nor could this be the sun that is seen through the first floor window of this apartment. And then it's currently 12:15 p.m. because it's here at 7:18 in the morning as well. And also seeing it through the first floor of this this is an apartment, not a hotel. I'm seeing it through this window in this manner is also literally speaking to the scientific impossibility that the demon, that's the identification of the third party that is literally walking themselves into walls and as though they're throwing their body across. That demon that's under a fake sun that I can see through the window of Tracy Banks' apartment at 12:15 in the afternoon. Where it's still here, as you've seen, underneath the patio structure of this same apartment building after 4 p.m. And you've seen it also while the Ontario Police, a department full of demons who are also stalking with the demon in apartment 55 after 6 o'clock, 6:27 p.m. This is not the sun. And the fact that you can see it through the window, this is speaking to the evidence of stalking by it, not just the demon above in 55, where that's not sunlight that would stream backwards behind the door and downward. You've seen the same exact pattern of light activity when the fake sun is not even up. In fact, at 6 and 7 o'clock in the morning, this same pattern of engineered light is right here. And that would not be the sun that's possible to be seen as you're seeing it perfectly aimed through this window. None of this is sunlight. So you're looking at engineered light. And what is all sun? You're looking at all these where engineered light is underneath the covered patio, closed blinds, on the inside of a building, streaming backwards behind the television. This is all manner of demonic, okay? And it's also demonic by virtue of my ability to see this light source through. You can see it while I'm on the couch And then literally while I'm on this couch, as I open and close my eyes, as I document the fact that senior citizens are going to federal prison for engaging in state surveillance, the demons engage in more amplified noise creation. That is the evidence of being monitored. Human beings are monitored by spirits. Those are demonic spirits. And the fact that the government, a department full of demon-possessed criminals or stalkers, when a department is full of those masquerading with badges as though they have authority under the law and they're stalking you, in fact, they're monitoring you, that's called surveillance. That's what the Ontario Police Department is engaged in, and they do it under a fake sun. In fact, at 12:31 p.m., you've seen them stalking at this apartment complex, while you've seen helicopters flying over me at 12:31 p.m. I also use that time as an illustration showing, for example, there's no sun in San Diego at 1 o'clock over the San Diego Police Department at 1 o'clock. When I'm looking at it literally through this window where it remains here as I'm standing underneath this same apartment ceiling through this window at 3 and 4 o'clock and at 2, 3, and 4 o'clock. You've seen it very late. These are demons who are monitoring every move I make. They're also sex offenders. As my panties are down, the demons are still obsessively stalking every move, including while you're physically indisposed. That's a sex offender that's monitoring you. This is what an apartment full of so-called police officers. This is why Mike LORENZ in the Ontario Police Department shall be no more. With regard to exercising authority under the law, the City of Ontario will go without for the betterment of the city and the state, because the department is committed to criminal conduct, including that of a sexual nature. While those that they encourage criminal conduct with, that's why you have a demon, a stalker inside of her apartment, stalking another person. The direct evidence is this impossible light activity. The direct evidence is the fake sun that I can see while I'm physically inside of the same apartment where I'm present at 7:18 in the morning and after 6 o'clock in the evening, even with daylight savings time. That's literally a scientific impossibility that it would be here, that I could see it in this video as you saw. And you've already seen the evidence. The fake sun remains here well after 12. It's currently 12:20 p.m. This is documentation of all this, what is harassment and terrorism as an entity. And the engineered light you've seen appearing, not only are you looking at a possible light activity, but it shoots horizontally into the building. And this is what you're seeing here. Light is growing on the floor, moving in all manner of directions inside of the apartment, which I continuously capture images. That's called engineered light. It's the direct evidence that state surveillance at a facilitating venue and not private constitutionally protected activity or lifestyles at a private residence is underway. Everybody at Woodside Senior Apartments and Apartments 33 through 64 are going to federal prison. And the demon in 55 and the demon inside of this apartment are engaged in 24-hour surveillance with the government that is represented by the Ontario Police, who are heavily documented engaged in state surveillance. The corrupt airport, the Ontario International Airport, is stalking. That's also why these senior citizens in the aforesaid apartment units are going to federal prison. This is state surveillance that's designed to work toward the murder and kidnapping of an American citizen. It is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is P.O.C. It's demonic. And everything that's happening in an apartment with regard to the light activity is for the convenience of demons that are stalking you through apartment buildings, all around this apartment and inside of the apartment. They're all stalking, okay? As I fall asleep, as I wake up, as I walk around, as I pull my panties down, as my genitalia is exposed, a population of demons are stalking with noise. That's a terrorizing occurrence as well, for which they're going to federal prison, and the American citizen subject to it is going to be compensated. AVANATH is a sex offender and a group stalker, and they're going to be prosecuted for that which they're profiting off of. The demons at Woodside Senior Apartments and working at Woodside Senior Apartments and coming on to engaging even in business at Woodside Senior Apartments and flying over the sky space of Woodside Senior, they're all engaged in state surveillance. And AVANATH is a group stalker, going to be subject to a prosecution for that. The demon who you've seen in Fart 55, you've seen her on video under the fake sun in the parking lot, crossing path. In this parking lot, an impossible light activity moving across the brick wall, which is not the product of any constitutionally protected conduct, nor is it the occurrence of a free citizen who's going to avoid anything other than padded walls in a federal facility. or federal prison. She's going to federal prison though. She's currently walking around in circles. It's called amplified audible activity. While she does so, this is the a criminal that's group stalking with all of those that live in relevant position at this apartment complex, where this light source moves as I move. For you to see, like you saw through the window as I'm on the couch, that's real-time movement as I move. You also know that this isn't the sun because it's in the same position as I've captured video at this property at 9 o'clock, 10, 11 in the morning. It's, again, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and this light source in the same manner is present here at 2 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon, where demons like the one in 55 is engaging in what is this pacing around in circles. She's moving as I move. That's called monitoring. Neither is that sunlight. And this is what is the ongoing terrorism. My shadow is enlarged in size. You can see it's very faint, but you can see the concentrated light and the entity that is engaged in what is very psychotic. The entity is engaged in what is monitoring movements, monitoring conduct on the internet. This is engineer light that's streaming across the ceiling while a demon is just pacing back and forth. And while the sex offender is monitoring genitalia, you're going to federal prison. You're doing so on behalf of the government while you're engaging in what is the ongoing interruption of quiet enjoyment by a apartment full of senior citizens who do not complain about it, okay? By the police department, by the airport, by the demons that live at the property, you're going to federal prison. You do it on a 24-hour basis for the unlawful purpose of keeping an American citizen under surveillance while that government has no warrant or probable cause. Immunity is doing so under the fake sun. All right, this is ongoing movement of engineered light in a manner that's in conflicting directions, obsessively stalking, and that is P.O.C. All right, the sound of sirens is what is criminal summoning. The fire department's a documented terrorist. The police department's a documented terrorist. And so is American Medical Response. This is in Ontario at 12:25 p.m. The entity's keeping the fake sun at the latest venue I documented was the Palmdale Holiday Inn. You have a community full of demons. They're all obsessively maintaining the same elements of monitoring, just like the sex offender in apartment number 55. And the entity is doing so on an obsessive method, but they're also doing so while federal stalking is underway. And this is impunity. While you hear and see crossing path under a fake sun is indeed P.O.C. That's a population maintaining the elements. That's the same sex offenders of 41. They do the same conduct with the police department at 5 and 6 o'clock in the evening. Walking in and out of their apartment is a part of the pattern of conduct. And this is the demon that's pacing. All right, you've seen her doing so, driving in the parking lot after, under this fake sun, and the engineer light moves across the building. Okay, these are the ones that are also going to federal prison. She's inside of apartment 55 and she walks out while the Ontario police, that they're being documented, they provide evidence to the federal government as to why they will be disbanded. 55 and the police crossing path at the same time is pursuant to their knowledge of being addressed in this video, and the mentally ill, demon-possessed group stalkers engage in this very pattern, exhibiting impunity while they group stalk and plan. You're aware of the condition because this is the fake sun that's present as I've documented at, like I've stated in the morning and also in the afternoon. It's still here at 2 o'clock, 3, 4 o'clock. The Ontario police group stalking under the same fake sun, the evidence of what is demon possession and malicious conduct by a community. This is also the practice of witchcraft. This is going to be prosecuted as criminal surveillance. And this is the demon with license 5WB 715, group stalking with the demons on Vine Avenue. This fake sun is over me at 714 North Vine at 9 and 10 o'clock in the afternoon. This is all manner of what is a scientific impossibility. You just witnessed the Ontario police demonstrate why, again, for under Derek Williams and now under Mike LORENZ, why they will indeed be facing disbanding, why AVANATH Communities LLC will indeed be subject to civil and criminal prosecution for group stalking, and while the entity will be subject to federal prison. All the demons in units 33 through 64 are engaging in that state surveillance, and this is a community that's also engaged in sexual violence. They are still engaging in the way that you see now, the impunity. That's the same impunity exercised while the third party who you see walking by is not the cause for the sound of the cracking ceiling. She does so 24 hours a day. She calmly crosses path, engaging in state surveillance, exhibiting why she and demons in that same position will never receive federal housing or state housing benefits while they're engaged in state surveillance with the police, just like you just saw, never capable of living in a community where they can engage in 24-hour surveillance, threatening the life of an American citizen with impunity in the manner in which that you just saw. And while the Ontario International Airport, the Ontario Police Department, the entity engaging in what is, in other words, the elements of monitoring with the means of the very municipality, will be subject to what is a relentless prosecution in the same way that they are relentlessly group stalking. So I just want to be clear, you're looking at crossing path in the sky space while the cloud path is over the fake sun. That remains here after 5 p.m. and that same police department is on video group stalking in a manner and with simultaneity, again, to what they know I'm doing on a communication device amongst the people with whom they're incriminating while group stalking on video, with knowledge of the fact that you have been mentioned in evidence, and it is imprudent and incriminating as opposed to maintaining the appearance of any sort of normalcy or protected conduct under the Constitution while you do so. All right, this is P.O.C. That's again 5WUB715. She's a sex offender engaging in that same conduct as I document on podcast while my genitalia is exposed. The city of Ontario is monitoring a genitalia. That's a sex offense committed by an entity that uses helicopters to monitor a genitalia of a woman who has not granted consent to that. That's a sexual violence by an entity that is group stalking with senior citizens such as this demon in 55 who never takes a break. She never ceases to engage in it. And group stalking, and this is pacing while demons cross path under a fake sun together. That's POC. And it's also federal stalking. You're looking at demonic activity. All right. This is, again, the pattern of conduct at Woodside Senior Apartments under a fake sun that's nowhere near being over the hotel room window, for example, at Palmdale's Holiday Inn, where the entity kept that fake sun literally over the entrance of that Palmdale Road Holiday Inn in Victorville. As I captured video at 4 o'clock, at 5:23 p.m., at 8:49 in the morning, just to name a couple of examples where you will see the light source that would not possibly be at the same location at Woodside. You would not be able to see the sun through this window in the way that you're seeing while I open then the door. And this is also not the sun, as you are aware of them. These same demons are group stalking under this light source that moves as I move in this parking lot, okay? This is the entity that is subject to federal prison as you're witnessing impunity. Alrighty, this is POC, that's AVANATH Capital Management. The demons that work at the property, the household representing AVANATH is group stalking with the police, with the very same community. In Impossible Light activity, this same community exhibited a demon possession and acted with impunity while they drive in a parking lot. In Impossible Light that you see inside of Tracy's apartment is moving across brick walls outside. It's not the product of sunlight, and nor is walking on the sidewalk going to create cracking in the ceiling. That's a psychopath and a sex offender, and she's going to federal prison. This is shared by the demons in units 33 through 64. They're all going to federal prison with the police department that's going to be disbanded, group stalking with them while you see a helicopter flying higher than a fake sun that remains over this same exact strip of land at the apartment complex. And engineer light is both inside of the apartment and outside. Okay, this is, again, the foolishness of idiots that stalk under a fake sun. That's removing a corrupt airport, a corrupt police department, and a senior citizen full of demons who are indeed group stalking. All right, this represents Amazon. You know that they're group stalking. They're walking in engineer light. They're walking under a fake sun, delivering to demons is the POC in California and in Ontario. This is, again, the pattern of conduct where the entity is maintaining a population. It's 12:31 p.m. And this is the entity that is in doing so with knowledge that is being documented. And so the demon possessed, these are the mentally ill, the undiagnosed means of what is mental illness while a population is engaging in the phenomenon of group stalking. This is exposing public corruption. That's pacing on Vine Avenue. Remember, they're doing the same thing at 9 o'clock in the morning where that fake sun is over me at Vine Avenue, and you're looking at the impossible that it's here over the same apartment complex, not only after the documented sunrise here, but the fact that it's over the same corrupt police department at 10 o'clock in the morning when I'm at Vine Avenue. This is, again, concentrating, recognizing, targeting, and a population that's targeting through maintenance and that in engineer light. This is not the product of sunlight, nor is this the sun that is still here at the end of the day. This is POC, and the demon comes outside to group stalk in the same way that she's monitoring my genitalia in the bathroom. All right, that's the demon driving away, and this is the demon crossing path. That's a demon stationed in the parking lot. They're all in there. Those are demons that are pacing on Vine Avenue, and the demon inside of this apartment, okay, engaging in group stalking for years. All right, this is the senior citizen community. There is no respect of persons, no age limitations. You're currently seeing the state acting directly and indirectly while state surveillance remains ceaselessly underway. And the mentally ill community that is group stalking is showing why they will not be missed by society. And it is for the betterment of that society that they are put away in the facilities where they are going. This is documentation of impunity and doing so while they are monitoring the very evidence. It's 12:32 p.m. This is where the entity is keeping engineer light inside of the apartment as well. So remember the environment outside, and then you're looking at the environment that is inside of the apartment. None of it is a product of sunlight. All right, and then you have the evidence of the entity keeping the fake sun rising and setting at Alvarado Gardens in Los Angeles, while LAPD engaged in the same system that you see the city of Ontario, which is the state of California, engaging in. All right, again, it is 12:33 p.m. This is P.O.C. Yes. I'm inside. That's activity creation and engineered light. Exercising no authority where the engineered light, where a fake sun, where a police department is stalking, that's a threat to your life. That's also mental illness exposed while you're looking at a population engaging in group stalking with those whose name you know. That's documentation of ongoing impunity. All right. Not worried about the ongoing disruption to quiet enjoyment while the demon above in 55 is group stalking. But while I am documenting, enforcing my rights, and protecting myself from the people of the state, you're looking at what was a means of and what continues to be a means of group stalking. It is currently, again, 12:34 p.m. This is where the fake sun is remaining in the same exact position, lower than the patio at 2 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And none of it is the basis of what is the engineered light that you've seen outside. You see it on the patio outside, and you're looking at a light that's appearing underneath the patio, appears in her bedroom through windows, dynamic engineered light on the bedroom inside of the wall. On the bedroom wall. This is all manner of P.O.C. So this video documentation is showing an entity that is monitoring the evidence, and they just engaged in the system of group stalking on video for you again, as they are aware of it. That's the mentally ill. That's, in other words, spiritually speaking, you're witnessing Satan act out his system amongst the population, and it's the demise of the city of Ontario. And the senior citizen community is engaged in that same system in concert with the neighborhood. It's not just the demons in units 33 through 64 that are going to federal prison. The entire Woodside Senior Apartments is a group stalker. There are commercial actors, which are represented by AVANATH, for example, and the demon that is group stalking, delivering to a group stalker, monitoring you in doing so. This is for, you've seen the airlines of the Ontario International Airport group stalking. You've seen Amazon group stalking. You can replace the name of Amazon to understand what the state is doing, while you saw a third party delivering a package to a third party for the criminal purpose of monitoring. And that's what's happening amongst the scientific impossibility of engineer light. All right. And there is nothing other than what is legally relevant. The elements of monitoring, and the federal government can readily identify that. The entity is doing so. Remember, the police department and the population, the sex offender went from running around in circles, which she's doing. I'm documenting on a 24-hour basis where she's never ceasing to engage in stalking me with noise. And she represents the people. That's the state, who you saw flying over in helicopter. The state is monitoring through such mentally ill sex offenders who engage in that same surveillance while your genitalia is exposed in what should be a private space. And since the state is engaged in unlawful surveillance, the state is a sex offender and is doing so through such demons who went to the extent to walk outside because the demon knew that I was aiming a camera outside. That's showing obsession, as opposed to just casually and coincidentally walking by you in engineer light under this phenomenon of the light source that's hovering down over the roof of the building, in the same way that the Ontario International Airport hovers over these buildings. All right, this is P.O.C. It is currently, again, 12:36 p.m. at Woodside Senior Apartments. All right, you're going to look at the body of evidence showing what this apartment complex, meaning what the state of California has been engaged in at Woodside, which is nothing other than a venue where the statewide pattern of conduct is shown. Where I am in the city of Las Vegas and I'm exiting at 12:08 p.m., there is no sun that I'm going to see through this window while I'm on the couch inside of the apartment. While I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada, checking out a Courtyard by Marriott at 12:08 p.m., and I compare that to the same time at the La Quinta Inn in Hesperia, there's no sun that you're going to see through this window while I'm inside of this apartment and capturing and then opening the front door. I'm not moving anywhere. So understand where I'm at in Las Vegas at the same time. Understand when I'm living in Alvarado Gardens. Understand what the entity is aware of as you document. And then with the straight face, this is very highly imprudent. And this is prosecutorial suicide while a police department and a population just engaged in group stalking on video, which is what the mentally ill entity, the mentally ill are psychopaths who are demon possessed. And that is exhibiting obsession and with regard to woeful unpreparedness for prosecution. They did so under a scientific impossibility. There's no sun over anywhere in Las Vegas, let alone could that have been the sun, in other words, at 12:08 p.m. in Las Vegas, Nevada, at Dean Martin Courtyard by Marriott, where I am showing you remain stationary over me, not just at Woodside in a manner that's incongruent and impossible to naturally occur, but over me at Woodside, while you saw a whole population exhibit impunity. The impunity that a community exhibits while it's keeping you under surveillance for the purpose of murdering and kidnapping you is noted, duly noted with regard to the prosecution of that community. You will remove every police department, every fire department, every community member with regard to the ongoing determination to threaten the life of an American citizen, whether you know the demon's name, all right? Whether you know that government actor's name, whether you know the names of the demons in positions of leadership, such as Mike LORENZ, who was over a department full of sex offenders and demons and stalkers, they will be removed. All right. And that is what justice requires. Again, license 5WUB715 is a sex offender engaged in 24-hour surveillance. She crosses path under a fake sun and engineer light, a light source and engineer light that's not the product of sunlight, nor could this naturally be the environment when you're looking at it hovered over the demons of apartment number 41. That's AVANATH, who's group stalking, walking in and out of that apartment, having a package delivered to them, group stalking with the rest of the demons walking on the sidewalk. AVANATH represents a commercial actor who is making money, profiting, which is unlawful and against public policy. They will be civilly and criminally prosecuted, while I'm reminding you, for example, of the light source that's over me in the same manner in an entirely different state. 12:08 p.m. And then I drove around. I'm still at this time in Las Vegas, Nevada in August of 2024, driving around and capturing group stalking by the Las Vegas Metropolitan in vehicles, the people of the state in vehicles, while a fake sun is not stationary over Ontario at Woodside Senior Apartments. It is in motion, remaining over me, the evidence of a population stalking you, including while you stay present inside of one apartment, and they're maintaining audible activity and pacing all around you, which is what you just saw in the sky space and on the sidewalk in front of me and on the parking lot and on Vine Avenue, where you have seen the evidence surrounding them. The fake sun over Vine Avenue, where those demons are monitoring a woman. The fake sun over me when I'm at the same property instead of driving around to Upland and ultimately to Hesperia to La Quinta Inn. I stayed here. And the light source did not continuous in a direction west. The light source is contrary to that, over the same property where I'm also documented on video at 7:18 in the morning, rising. This is not sunlight that's reflecting off of the window outside, flat onto the sidewalk, and also inside where you're seeing it appear and disappear on the floor, and also inside above the front and behind the back door, and also remaining stationary, aiming all manner of engineer light in all directions inside of the apartment. That is the imprudent behavior of criminals that are exhibiting lawlessness and they're masquerading as police departments. The Ontario Police Department is over. Okay, the body of evidence where they have engaged in, not only are they stalking on video, they've engaged in kidnapping with the same exact entity who you see exhibiting a false sense of, a misguided sense of concern, where they are surrounded by evidence that's exhibiting obsession. All right, where the entity is engaging in this manner of surveillance together. It is currently, again, just to provide you what is the ongoing reminders of the evidence that sits here. But again, the screen recordings that I have, the body of evidence speaking to where I'm at the same time. This is why you document the supernatural. And the supernatural is revealing a criminal system by a corrupt entity. It is federal group stalking and monitoring. And it is also simultaneously exposing what you need to know, what is not merely a horror flick. It is the revealing of demon possession. And the demon possessed are very mentally ill, and the ongoing exposure of their condition and their criminal conduct is shown through the public safety concern that's created, that you are aware of, when the police is openly group stalking on video, like the Ontario Police have been doing for years, when the population is openly group stalking on video, as the people of the state have engaged in for years, and no one is mistaken about exactly what you're looking at now. All right, it is 12:41 p.m. and this is P.O.C. The current time is 12:52 p.m. I just captured substantial video showing the state's pattern of conduct. It is federal group stalking and monitoring. The state's pattern of conduct is demonic. This shall be the basis of understanding, studying, prosecuting, and legislating around what is the satanic surveillance system that California is engaging in, and the ways in which you're going to punish that entity and disincentivize this surveillance system, which is serving for the purpose, which is also satanic, to sacrifice a human being, the way that a corrupt entity that's practicing demonic activities, such as by group stalking with the constituents of the state, while masquerading as, for example, having authority under the law to arrest you, having authority under the law to house you in a facility, such as the county sheriff, such as housing the necessarily masquerading as having authority under the law, where the courthouse in that same venue is engaged in group stalking and facilitating group stalking, masquerading to have authority under the law in order to prosecute you in any means whatsoever. This is the system of group stalking, and I just captured substantial video, and this is evidence regarding what I was directly referencing. But just as a matter of these are not going to be long videos. This is the video I just captured at the bottom. It started at 12:15 p.m. While I was inside. This is when I opened the front door, and this is the building that's right in front of me, apartment 42. This is AVANATH Capital Management's employee that lives in apartment 41. This is called relevant positioning. You're going to prosecute a community that is group stalking. This also speaking to what is no excuse, what is no exception, which is the senior citizen community is engaged in state surveillance. The senior citizen community is a pack of sex offenders monitoring the genitalia of a woman who was clearly documenting it. That means I'm not, nor is an American citizen volunteering or consenting to. You're monitoring the anatomy, the sexually violent pattern of conduct is exhibiting ongoing obsession that's occurring inside of a private space, where the elements of monitoring are occurring in an apartment, including the bathroom inside of that apartment. And an entity living in that community is the unlawful and intolerable level of facilitation by the government that literally flew over this apartment, where this fake sun is. It's at a lower elevation than the tree itself. This is on its face. Very, very imprudent. While this is mental illness, and that mental illness is exhibited by that imprudent behavior being seen, caught on video, present anywhere in a helicopter. You are going to be prosecuted as an entire department. The entity does so. You're dealing with what is the very highly problematic decision making. And remember, this isn't just suffering from some overinflated ego. This is serving for the conspiracy to murder and kidnap. So you're group stalking, which is a conspiracy to murder and kidnap someone as a corrupt police department, because you are, again, incapable of controlling yourself. And this is for the providence. This is good that you witness it, but we're going to analytically break down the decision-making skills of that police department to be seen in the sky space, in relevant position, flying at a higher elevation than literally the so-called sun, where it's present at this property at 7 in the morning, and it's still present in this property at 6:27 in the afternoon. And in this video where I captured the police department group stalking, flying over a fake sun that's in alignment to me, in a manner that is impossible also to be seen while it's in Las Vegas, Nevada at 12:08 p.m. Remember, I started this video at 12:15, okay? 12:08 p.m. in Las Vegas, Nevada, that light source remains over me. The entity is masquerading around you, walking by like the demon in apartment 55, like there's nothing to see here, folks. She's going to federal prison. And the entity that acts with regard to that same demise of the, well, it's toward their own demise, but with regard to what is as though anybody else in the world, because you're not. Anybody else in the world is mistaken regarding what you're looking at. You're looking at a demon that went from group stalking me inside of the apartment to group stalking outside of the apartment, while that demon, who's also monitoring my genitalia, begins walking in engineer light that's on the sidewalk outside, while the fake sun is hovering over the apartment building outside, while the corrupt police department that incriminates everyone by virtue of their presence is flying over the same apartment complex outside. In doing so, where I'm showing you there's a sun that's over me in Las Vegas, Nevada at Courtyard by Marriott. This is the prosecution of a senior citizen community, and the demons in units 33 through 64 are going to federal prison. This is the light source at 12:15 when I'm on the couch, and the light source is seen through the window in the living room on the inside of the apartment. And then I'm reminding you, you're also looking at, this is impossible light in the ceiling, the crevice of the ceiling. That's not sunlight. And this is engineered light that's above the window. While you're looking at what is the light source itself, so focused and so in perfect alignment with my location. And that is also the evidence of mentally ill stalkers who are failing at what is the malicious endeavor. Nonetheless, even though it's unintelligent, even though it's obvious and everyone else in the world is aware of now, with regard to what you're looking at demons. And what are demons? They are mentally ill. They are in their mind convinced that they are covert artists, that you cannot see them, that you're unaware of what they are seeking to accomplish, and that they hold anything other than the position of a state actor, either the state stalking directly in a helicopter, for example, or the state stalking vicariously through a senior citizen at an apartment complex who's going to the extent to cross path on video. Okay, you are very mentally deranged to be a group stalker. You are very highly mentally deranged to go outside of your way to group stalk on video for the world to witness, which you've already seen. You saw that same exact sex offender license 5WUB715 driving in the parking lot, and engineer light moved all across the brick wall. Okay, you've seen the same thing on the streets, on the highway, on the roads and the highways, while I'm in the shade on the sidewalk, and the demons of the city of Ontario molesting me with engineer light. I showed you that video while I was subject to that same phenomenon on the roads and the highways, walking in the shade on the sidewalk in Los Angeles while the fake sun is over the Social Security office at 9 o'clock in the morning. And never is that the product of sunlight when you're driving by. That is called crossing path. That's the term of art. And this is showing the pattern of conduct amongst a population who are fooling absolutely no one. Not only is this not the sun, this is not sunlight that's appearing on the inside of the apartment. This is all engineer light, where a sex offender is going to the extent to cross path. And let's give a shout out, because the demons go out of their way to engage in the stalking on video. This is the light source that's, again, it's in alignment with the window as I'm on the couch as I move, so that fake sun moves. And it's at a lower elevation than the tree, okay? I'm looking underneath a covered patio, sliding door, and this is how low hanging this light source is. And I've captured the same exact picture framework at 3 o'clock going into the 4 o'clock hour. And as I open the front door, the demon, this is a psychopath, and this is a sex offender that knows that she's being documented while I'm in the living room. As I open the front door, this demon walks downstairs and crosses path, group stalks, in other words, on video. And this is what you see here. This represents a community that's going, and the state that's going to be relieved of such means of terrorism by a corrupt government. That's not sunlight that you see on the floor. And you see it in an opposite direction, going underneath the inside of the apartment. A covered patio is outside, and you're looking at engineer light. This is while the population living inside of apartment 41 is group stalking. Coming onto the grounds to deliver a package at apartment 41 is group stalking. Walking by my apartment to cross path, walking toward the pool is group stalking. Walking outside of your apartment, walking back and forth to the parking lot, which is what the demon in apartment 55 is doing, is group stalking. And this is exactly what I'm showing you while this demon is walking by the apartment, and it's not a coincidence while she does so. Okay, this is the demon in apartment 55 who's pacing around above me, monitoring me, as this demon knows when I wake up. This is the reality of demon possession, and not coincidentally doing so on behalf of the demons who are using a helicopter to group stalk right along with her. This is on the watch of Mike LORENZ. By virtue of the demonic and highly malicious criminal activity exhibited by a department not just under Mike LORENZ, but under Derek Prince, the previous demon-possessed terrorist facilitating criminal conduct amongst a corrupt police department. This is, in other words, exhibiting what's wrong with Mike LORENZ, what Mike LORENZ is actually engaged in. He's not a chief of police. He's a terrorist leader. And no terrorist leader shall maintain any means of employment with law enforcement in Ontario or anywhere in any jurisdiction in the U.S. While this demon goes from group stalking me inside of her apartment to group stalking me by means of walking outside for the criminal purpose of the demons in the helicopter, pacing together. That's what you're looking at while Ontario flies over and the demon in 55 walks by. They're doing so under a fake sun, which again at 12:15, this is what I'm capturing, and what you'll see above at 12 p.m. when I am checking out of the Palmdale Holiday Inn. There is no sun that's going to be over Woodside Senior Apartments. This is how you're understanding the concerted and highly imprudent conduct of demons. This is mental illness exposed, because the demons are not only monitoring the evidence, they still engage, which is exhibiting obsession. Obsession with the posture that you no longer maintain persuasively. You never maintained it in reality, and no one is fooled by what the demon-possessed entity engages in. You are openly engaging in state surveillance, and because you openly do so with the malicious intent to appear as though you're engaging in anything lawful. That's why a state actor is stalking, because they want to appear as though they have the right to, because believe me, they are not volunteering to the federal government that they are stalking an American citizen. They maliciously maintain a posture that's supposed to depict that target individual as failing in alleging any charges against the state. The Ontario Police Department lost that endeavor years ago. And they are, in this video, showing demon possession, high level of malice, exhibiting impunity, while encouraging criminal conduct amongst a corrupt people, society. And they're demons in doing so together. And this light source that's over Palmdale, Holiday Inn.
It is currently 12:12.
This light source that's over the Holiday Inn at Palmdale Road is not the sun that would be over Woodside Senior Apartments at the same time, where the police is flying over in helicopter. And as I described that, the entity is under no circumstances deterred or in any way seeking to stop threatening an American citizen, to stop stalking that American citizen, to stop harassing and terrorizing that American citizen. You saw them engage in pacing on the sidewalk. The light source that's over in alignment with me in a different city through the window. This is the same position, by the way, where this light source where I'm capturing at the Holiday Inn in Palmdale at 12:12 p.m. This is the video I captured today at 12:15 p.m. This is capturing the scientific impossibility that a police department is doing anything other than stalking in a very highly malicious manner, where you are not supposed to be able to recognize it, and you certainly aren't supposed to be able to prove it, where the ordinary target individual does not have the evidence that the P.O.C. provides. This is a demon that's monitoring an American citizen. She's going to federal prison. She represents the people of the state who are pacing on Vine Avenue. All right. They are under the fake sun that I captured on over me on Vine Avenue at 9 and 10 o'clock in the morning. And here it is east of that Vine Avenue location over me in front of the apartment, where I am showing you the impossible light activity that fills the inside of this apartment in all manner of direction. This is not sunlight. This is evidence of group stalking. And this is where a police department is maintaining a surveillance inside of what is supposed to be a private residence in violation of Fourth Amendment rights. Oh, the people of the state are not complaining, however. They are holding hands, engaging in this criminal endeavor together as one. And it's also demonic. All right, this light source that's over the Holiday Inn.
Let me confirm that. Yes, indeed, it is 12:12 p.m. Excellent time. What you're looking at is while I'm inside of the hotel on the 4th floor, facing Palmdale Road. This is the same exact position where the fake sun is captured at 8:48 in the morning, if you'll recall the video documentation. This is, again, capturing a vantage point where the entity is group stalking. Then you have the demon possessed, such as Lexi, such as Rosalie, who are both going to federal prison. And while they're engaging in harassment as an entity, terrorism as an entity, that's a group stalker that's also threatening your liberty while referencing the demon-possessed terrorist organizations who group stalk with them in helicopters. That's who Lexi is threatening to.
All right, so I'm referencing the malice with which the entity was group stalking. The mentally ill engage in a pattern of threatening, where they're exhibiting authority that you're exhibiting malice, but they're engaging in what is seeking to obstruct justice. Well, you even reference the police who are stalking with them. That is the purpose of group stalking. You're summoning them by virtue of threatening to call the police who don't have any authority. They're group stalking together. That's understanding criminal summoning, which is the means whereby this same corrupt police department has engaged in a pattern of kidnapping. That's what I'm talking about when Lexi, who was incriminated again, even in this video, Lexi's going to federal prison. She was group stalking at the Holiday Inn in on Palmdale Road in Victorville, California. That is, again, big picture, because I thoroughly prosecuted Lexi in that video. So Lexi is already handled. Lexi represents the people who's group stalking inside of apartment 55, who crossed path while walking on the sidewalk outside, who is so obsessively engaged in group stalking. The demon had to walk outside to engage in it, and does so exhibiting obsession, not engaging in any persuasive appearance of innocence. Or you don't appear disinterested, you don't appear disconnected, you don't appear to engage in anything constitutionally protected, you don't appear to be engaging in anything normal. These are demons who are pacing all around under a light source that is impossible to reconcile with that which I'm capturing at the same time over me in Victorville at the hotel, where, by the way, where I remained at this is just one venue, because remember, I'm living at Alvarado Gardens, where LAPD is engaging what Ontario PD is doing on an ongoing basis. LAPD kept a fake sun over me at Alvarado Gardens, rising and setting in alignment to me, where a population of demons are surrounded by this body of evidence. This is where an entity placed a fake sun over Holiday Inn in Victorville. This is where an entity places a fake sun over Woodside Senior Apartments in Ontario. And as I show you the evidence I referenced at 12 p.m., at 12:15 p.m. Remember, I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada at 12:08 p.m. And I also captured video just to juxtapose that, showing you what is, again, irreducible and insurmountable evidence, showing the malice with which an entity is engaging in what is stalking you. That's group stalking. And this is what the state is engaging in. And the entity that engages in that while seeking to obstruct justice by kidnapping you, which, by the way, while they do so, that's prosecuting their criminal conduct while they're engaged in executing the conspiracy to murder and kidnap by group stalking. That corrupt entity that engages in kidnapping, which is what the Ontario Police Department, that's why they are going to be disbanded. All right. And while they witnessed, they're engaged in federal stalking. So they made the decision to cross path with knowledge, exhibiting impunity that Mike Lorenz has lost his position as a terrorist leader. You are not a chief of police when you're group stalking as a police department. And that's exactly how you're going to be treated. A threat to the public, having no authority, and engaging in facilitating, encouraging criminal conduct. It is entirely antithetical to the position you are supposed to hold. You are expected and trusted to maintain and guard as a department that is engaging in criminal conduct, working toward my demise, as opposed to protecting and serving me. All right. This is what is shown while this light source is over me at Woodside Senior Apartments. At the same time, where I'm just reminding you about what I captured upon my departure of the Palmdale Road. This is in Victorville, California, while this light source is maintaining the same position and alignment to me. This is in that zenith position. However, we're in two different positions. This is Kaiser Permanente in the background. In case you did not know, Kaiser Permanente is a group stalker. Yes, they are. And you have demons that are in the practice of medicine. This is for your information. You need to be aware of this. And this is something, again, that the government has to diligently work toward building in built-in resolutions with regard to exposing what is the demise of federal group stalking and monitoring in any manner that can secretly exist, that can work toward the demise of American citizens who are subject to kidnapping. They're sitting around kidnapped in this country right now. They are buried 6 feet under their dead, or you could have your ashes burned, but nonetheless, they have lost their lives while they were subject to this malicious system by the government. And that's why Mike Lorenz in the Ontario Police Department, it is for the betterment of the city of Ontario, but for the state, that they no longer exist. When a department is committed to criminal conduct, and while they have the convenience, the ability to anticipate, meaning get ahead of it, correct yourself even. All right. The Ontario Police Department has done none of that. They have, as you see in this video, continuously engaged in what is nothing other than criminal. While the ordinary target individual can see the helicopter, can hear the helicopter, which, by the way, while you're looking at it in this video, there was no helicopter activity heard. All right. I have documented a body of evidence where an entity is terrorizing not only through the presence of that helicopter, but the amplified audible activity of such helicopters, who are also the cause for the ongoing sensational activity. That is the demonic methods of targeting and terrorizing an American citizen. None of those are naturally occurrences where the entity is indeed stalking in the sky space using helicopters. All right. The entity does so, and you are fully engaged in that pattern of conduct in the sky space, where the entity was flying directly over my head in an inaudible manner. That's why you see the cloud space, flying higher than the fake sun. These are the idiots stalking under a fake sun that's over at the same time, prosecuting the very sex offender that's pacing back and forth under this light source because she knew that she was being documented on video. This is the revealing mental illness. Okay. She and the rest of the people of the state are indeed going to federal prison. This is a sex offender monitoring another's genitalia. All right. Outside of any constitutionally protected means, this is what the corrupt police department relies on to maintain that system of monitoring you. These are demons together who are pacing while they go in opposite directions, walking in engineered light, not the product of sunlight, while they are engaged in federal stalking in violation of Title 18. Okay. And all of this is occurring while, again, evidence you can point to. The sun is over the San Diego Police Department at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, as I documented in August 2024. The sun is over Alvarado Gardens, where I captured state surveillance, this ongoing conspiracy to murder and kidnap me amongst the LAPD, which is the state. In doing so in a specific environment where there's no sun that's over Woodside Senior Apartments. There's no sun that would be seen over me in Victorville, California at the Holiday Inn. There is no sun under any of those circumstances that's going to create sunlight in the way that I'm showing inside of this venue, the ceiling. All right, on the floor, reaching underneath, under. This is circus-like conduct in a circus-like environment, and it's designed to psychologically torture and threaten an American citizen. All right, this what you see here is a scientific impossibility. The two are not happening at the same time, and you're understanding what is recognizing a crime scene where nothing other than state surveillance of a demonic nature is underway in the federal government. Nor in addition to what is the ordinary American citizen. You don't have to be a target individual to arm yourself with the information, because this is what Satan is doing amongst people. Okay, Satan is a spirit. Satan needs people. Satan needs bodies, vessels, and you may even know that entity's name. Okay, and with regard to the pattern of conduct, an individual is not acting individual or in any individual capacity. You're looking at the people of the state that are living inside of the apartment buildings at Woodside, the people of the state that are inside of the apartment with you, the people of the state that are delivering packages on the venue. This is all manner of malice. That's what you saw in this video captured today. All right, this video is capturing what I'm subject to on a 24-hour basis. And the entity is not only engaging in that, it does it with real-time knowledge of the fact that they're being documented. That's relevant to the ways in which the entity is necessarily punished and disincentivizing terrorism in this country and in the world. Because the way that we respond to this as a country, all right, as the federal government putting its foot down on domestic terrorism in this country, this is making a statement that is crucial to our posture as the United States of America throughout the world. And it's reverberating, and it's a statement that everyone is going to pay attention to and everyone is listening to. And so the proper response is required. Right. And I can speak on behalf as an American citizen. I don't have to. I do represent the federal government. I want to be clear. The federal government that has no information regarding this series of federal offenses committed by a state. I am in the shoes of the federal government because the state refuses to recognize my constitutional rights. And also because the entity fails to recognize the imprudence of threatening what I represent, a federal investigator, a federal judge, a federal prosecutor. That is not the target individual's problem. And you are engaging in what is threatening the federal government. This is literally the imprudent conduct of the entity that's group stalking. You're going to be prosecuted for that. And this is exactly what I represent as I speak to blow the whistle, expose, and provide the basis, the precedent, if you will, regarding the fact of monitoring by the government, the fact of demon possession. If you had a question in your everyday life regarding whatever it is that you choose to believe in, this is not a matter of choosing what you get to believe in, because this demonic system is tangible evidence that you cannot disregard. You cannot reasonably disregard it. And it is going to confront your belief system. All right. Regarding the spiritual, regarding the arch enemy of your soul, Satan himself, who is a spirit. And you are able to deduce his reality through the demonic environment and through the demonic behaviors, those who are demon possessed and engaging in a malicious criminal system, which is what the state of California is engaging in. This is revealing a witch coven, and this is the practice of witchcraft by a government. And it's going to be very intensely prosecuted for it. It is currently, just want to be clear, 1:16 p.m. The fake sun remains over Woodside Senior Apartments, over me at Woodside in this manner. And this is the ongoing occurrence of that pattern of conduct. While I'm in this, capturing this video, I just want to remind you, not only in this video is the light source that's at Woodside, not the sun that I captured in an entirely different location, as you see here, inside of the Holiday Inn on Palmdale Road, where a population is group stalking me. All right, that's what this traffic represents. That's what every commercial actor in a hospital is group stalking. All right, and while you see this light source, this is what you are able to know, that Kaiser Permanente and the medical professionals, even the people of the state that are inside of that hospital, they're aware of my presence. They're focused on me, while the whole placement of this crime scene is there for that criminal purpose. And so this is removing the illusion that the entity is doing something important other than group stalking under a fake sun, to go to the extent to place an entirely fake light source in the sky space over that target individual is to properly address what actually is happening. A hospital is group stalking. That's what you're seeing here. And this hospital is group stalking because the son is not possibly over Woodside Senior Apartments at the same time. That is the importance of that targeted individual. And that's a threat to your life. It's not a compliment. That's a threat to your life while you're subject to that state surveillance. And the two that you see, this is not happening at the same time. It's impossible that this is the natural environment. But this is, however, the pattern of conduct. Not only is the entity keeping the light source as I'm capturing the video, remember, under the same patio window, as I stated, was the case. I'm capturing this light source at this same vantage point that I just captured at 12 in the afternoon. After 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the entity is maintaining a light source, as you saw here. I already documented.
All right, example of...
And not only is there light manifesting in the shade inside of the bedroom, inside of this apartment. I've gone through all this, so I'm going to... This video is already 25 minutes. So let me just get to the maintenance of the light source that you can see. While, again, as I capture this video, the obsession that you saw in the video, the demons are still monitoring right now. And this is, again,
I want you to see engineered light appearing. That's not sunlight.
All right. It's also, again, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The fake sun is at the same property. That's not sunlight. That's appearing inside of the apartment. The blinds are closed. The sun that's would be over an apartment building with closed blinds under a covered patio structure. None of this is sunlight. And that's speaking to, again, a sex offender that's pacing above me in apartment 55 and then walked outside because the obsessed sex offender wants to group stalk me on video, failing in an attempt to appear as though you're normal or innocent. You are able to recognize what demons are doing, and that is group stalking. The entity is maintaining the light source. Hold on. This is the
Identifiable. Has nothing to do, exactly. You can see it there. It has nothing to do with what you just saw in the shade. That's not sunlight. It's appearing underneath the structure. You're looking at the demonic. It is also not the explanation for engineered light that you saw on the wall inside of this bedroom, behind the mirror, and streaming horizontally.
Right now I'm explaining the engineered light, breaking down what you can see. It's not sunlight. Breaking down that analysis, but I want to get to the video
where it could never be proven.
The light source that you can see. Let's see. Today is the 5th to the 24. 1 second. I just want to show the video. You see the same exact light source. This is at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Which is a structure that would create shade. You're looking at what is the placement of, referred to as sunlight ignorantly, but this is ILA because of the unnatural placement and maintenance.
It's unnatural not only because the fake sun is stationary at one location. It's unnatural because it's literally circus-like. It's like gymnastics, bending underneath structures. It's appearing inside of the building, underneath while the blinds are closed, and it's remember, light is reaching into onto the floor behind the TV. This is the light source that you can see.
That's not the product of sunlight, and also
this is when you're breaking down the light activity that I'm analyzing. And remember the character of the light, not only the location of the light, but the character of the light itself. All right, this light source, this is 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Senior citizens who are violent sex offenders.
All right, and this is the light source. But remember, when I go back inside, the entity is maintaining the light source where you can see it. And this is the means of monitoring inside of an apartment complex. This is the engineered light illuminating the patio blinds, and this is the light activity that's occurring. It's not the sun that will be at one address all day long. It's not the sun while I am, and for example, remaining at the hotel in Victorville on Palmdale Road. It's not the sun while I'm living at Alvarado Gardens, and the light source itself is maintaining a presence, exclusive presence over me, rising and setting. It's never moving or advancing beyond me at Alvarado Gardens in LA. Okay, so this is that light source, and while I am inside of this apartment, this is what I'm capturing while I am remaining inside of the apartment itself. Excuse me, inside of the apartment looking out the window, because this is what I'm documenting. Just showing you hours later where you can see it through the windshield. This is what I documented. This fake sun.
That includes Okay? In other words,
it's reflecting off of a windshield in the parking lot. Remember, I'm capturing video. You can see the light source in alignment to me while I'm sitting inside of the apartment 51, like through the blinds. Okay, that's not the sun, first of all, and that's very concentrated, very precise placement in alignment to me. This is showing what is stalking by population through what the fake sun and the engineer light is doing. Okay. In addition, the light source, this is at 12 hours, like 2 hours later, it's not gone anywhere. This is the same position where it would be at to be seen in this video. It's in the same position 2 hours from now. That's not the sun. Just giving you ongoing, as I get up and I walk to this patio window, the fake sun moves as I move, and that's why you'll see it. As I get up, there it is. It's in the same position where it would be at 2 hours from 12:15 at 2:42 p.m. and it's reflecting off of a windshield in the same parking lot at the same patio window. The entity is keeping this fake sun as I capture that phenomenon. The light source that's engineer light above my head. I want to point something out. I want you to pay attention to the
with regard to prosecuting the state, because that's not the sun.
What you see right here, you can see it reflecting off of the windshield, but you don't see in this part of the video the light source hunkered down directly above the roof. Remember, this is demonic. It's not natural. And what I speak to and what I expose, the demonic environment, that is, again, the real-time control of the unnatural environment, it adjusts as I scrutinize the literally the asininity that I'm witnessing while I'm prosecuting an entity full of demons who are stalking, okay? Corporately, that's group stalking. Is you don't see the light source there. I walk out, you can see the light source. It is there. And this is pacing. Well, I just want to show you, these are demons.
And his daddy are going to federal prison. Okay, this is the light source right here. That has nothing to do with the impossible light you see on the ceiling inside of this apartment. That's understanding the intent.
These are demons who are pacing, okay? Just like you saw in front of the front door. This is not an ongoing coincidence. These demons are pacing, and this is, again, AVANATH Capital Management, LLC. They are obsessively engaged in monitoring my genitalia and also monitoring me while I am documenting, enforcing the rights the government shall respect and cease to engage in upon, literally, you're not supposed to be group stalking, period. But when documentation has began, which the entity is monitoring, that's intensifying, that's enhancing your federal prosecution. That are the consequences that you will suffer as the city police. They know exactly who's engaged in group stalking when the entity is being reported, when evidence is being submitted against an entity that's group stalking, not just the demons at the nearby apartment complex. That's telling on the fire department, the police department, the sheriff's department, the city airport, the entire population, the neighborhood, while you're documenting group stalking, and the federal government understands that. All right, just want to show you what is pacing, and what you did not see was that light source hunkered down above that roof, but what you will see,
two bodies going in opposite directions.
Based on what I expose, common sense that everybody, common sense is not that common, unfortunately. However, this is why I dissect and I describe and I let you see and witness with your own eyes, because what you will see in this video is all of a sudden the fake sun is hovered right above the roof in the way that you did not see before. So we're going to go back, and now you can see it, all right? This is what was not the case moments earlier, and you're looking at, again, the same vantage point. Not seeing it reflecting off of the windshield anymore, but this is the same video. This is ongoing placement. This is the demonic. When you're looking at a reflection, that's not a natural occurrence, okay? There are many illusions placed before you. All I'm doing is pointing out those illusions and contrasting that with what you ordinarily referred to as what would be the natural environment. And the natural environment is not one that has the sun that's at a lower elevation than the tree. The tree actually should be set ablaze. The building should be set on fire. All of us should be melting, literally, and being taken to the hospital based on the exhaustion of the sun that is not only remaining over Woodside Senior Apartments to the exclusion of any other location, including what is Palmdale Road, the hotel where I'm capturing, by the way, the light source remaining over me at that hotel, well after 12:31. This is where I left the venue on October 22nd. I remained at that venue before and capturing the light source, which I captured in other videos. The fake sun remained at that hotel, over my window at that hotel. But again, as I leave a venue, so does the fake sun. And you will see in this frame here, which you didn't see before, now you can see the fake sun in all of its brilliance, all right? While I am, again, what am I looking at? I'm outside of a patio window, a first floor patio. This is speaking to a very low elevation of that which would like to be mistaken for a natural environment, so that demons and sex offenders can walk around in front of your face and you will never suspect anything. All right. While they're group stalking you right in front of your face, in other words. This is, again, AVANATH Capital Management group stalking in plain view. This is a male that's a violent sex offender monitoring my genitalia in the same manner while they are aware of what I'm doing inside of the bathroom, inside of this apartment. And this is just speaking to the time frame. 12:15 I captured. This light source remains here. 2:42 p.m. This is not the natural environment. This is what I'm capturing at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 hours, in other words, from now. The light source is at the same exact location, okay? That's just one example, because I've captured the entity maintaining the light source at Woodside Senior Apartments as a matter of evidence from literally the beginning till the end of the day, which is what I document in this document here. Woodside Senior Apartments, where the evidence is sitting on the record already regarding what is the methods of keeping me under surveillance, chiefly through the sex offender who you see pacing on the sidewalk, and also obsessed with when I go to sleep, with when I wake up, with my movement inside of this apartment, with my personal and private activity inside of a private space. That is placed in the most explicit terms, because that's what the state of California is: a sex offender. And the demons who are group stalking you are sex offenders. And they're obsessed, by the way. The demon possessors are obsessed with the genitalia of the one whom they're group stalking. And that's also what you need to know about the people of the state who are openly group stalking on video. Very imprudent to do to the federal government, because that's exactly what I represent while I am blowing the whistle, serving for the prosecution of the state of California, where the fake sun at Woodside is captured as a matter of evidence on video, 7:18 to 6:27 p.m. Okay, Mike LORENZ is telling on himself and an entire department that's going to be disbanded for engaging with impunity, and all of those that live in apartments 33 through 64. All of them that are obsessively engaged in the elements of monitoring, as you saw them just walking by, driving by on Vine Avenue. This is state surveillance. It is currently 1:29 p.m. This is P.O.C.